More often than not in my past, whenever I was sitting down to do a work task or anything, I would be craving distractions. I would be excited when my family came in my room to talk to me or something and get me distracted from whatever work I was doing. Now, obviously, your family talking is a good thing, but I just mean in the sense that they were distracting me from whatever I was doing. Whenever I got a notification on my phone, I'd be excited so I can get away from the task that I was doing. Now, my brain pretty much looked more like this, and now my brain is looking a lot more like this guy right here. Nice and clear, you can get a good idea and stick to your task. Now you can also achieve the same transformation that I did, where when you're sitting down to do a task, then instead of just waiting for the next distraction, just getting excited at the thought that, oh, I might not have to do this in 2 minutes because something else is gonna stop me, right? Then you can change your brain to just actually wanting to do the task and being like fully locked in, getting in a flow state a lot easier. Doesn't that sound better? Because when you're doing the task faster, it's going to use less time. And so then, maybe it's homework, maybe it's something you genuinely don't want to do, then you can get it done a lot faster and a lot more effectively if you actually rewire your brain in the ways that I'm sharing in this video. Now it's definitely not going to be easy, but you are 100% capable of doing this, whereas I've done this myself, and yeah, it was a hard process, but you are able to do it. Now first, I just want to go over what dopamine is. Pretty much, it's going to be something that I'm talking about a lot in this video, and it's going to get you a better understanding if I just quickly go over this. So, dopamine is just our reward chemical in our brain. It makes us crave things. Now, in this modern world, our dopamine is fucked, right? We have so much overstimulating things around us, junk food, porn, all this shit, that you are overstimulating your brain with, and in return, lowering a dopamine baseline. Now, a dopamine baseline, now before, you click off this video and you're like, oh, what the hell is this guy talking about? There's so much shit. But trust me, I'm no scientist or anything, but it doesn't take that long to learn this shit. A dopamine baseline is literally where you are when you're not doing anything. Now, when you're doing a bunch of shit like this, like overstimulating content, and pretty much just things that you know are bad for you, that's going to lower your baseline. And your baseline is how you feel when you're not doing anything. So, for an example, if your baseline is very low, you're going to feel like shit when you're not doing anything. And in other words, when you're not doing anything, that could be doing something boring as well. So you're going to feel pretty shit when you're doing something, like a task like studying, or doing something that you don't really want to do. Even something that people do like doing, but because your brain is like this, you don't actually like it. Like, people like reading, but you probably don't like reading because your dopamine baseline is fucked, right? If you actually brought your dopamine baseline up, which is through the tactics that I'm about to share with you, then you're going to feel good even when you're not doing anything. You're going to feel good even when you're doing a boring task, and that boring task is actually going to become somewhat exciting to you. So the solution is pretty straightforward, but it's very hard. You just want to cut out as many of these overstimulating things as possible. Now that sounds scary. You're like, okay, wait, what does that mean? Does that mean I can't play my video games? Well, yeah. Now you're gonna want to cut out eating junk food, scrolling on social media, watching, not even just scrolling on the reels, but watching the hyper-stimulating content. Now that's what I actually did as well. I cut out watching hyper-stimulating content, and instead, now I watch educational content. And I'm not just saying that so you can watch me. You can go ahead and watch somebody else, but that's just what I did. Instead of watching hyper-stimulating shit, I watch stuff that's actually good for me. Now, these things right here, they're called instant gratification, where you feel good in the moment, your dopamine shoots right up, but then after it's gonna fall actually below where you started. So you're gonna shoot up and then go below. See, this is where you start, you're gonna end down here. And that's gonna lower your baseline. Sure, you feel good in the moment, but in the long run, you're gonna feel pretty bad. Now, ever since I started going on this dopamine detox, I felt so much better, and I can see the results of my baseline actually going up. Now, not to glaze myself or anything, but my baseline is a lot higher than the average person. And I can see that in the way that I do tasks and everything. And I'm not just saying that to glaze myself, but I've put in the work to actually raise this baseline up here. And now I'm sharing with you how you can actually do it. So it doesn't just come from cutting these things out. Because what's going to happen when you cut these things out? You're going to have a bunch of free time and you're not going to know what to do with. You're going to want to replace these habits with things that are good, like meditation, like journaling, doing deep work, these things. Now, I only started meditating a few months ago, but I can't believe I haven't started earlier. I haven't seen any crazy results yet, but you know what? But after you do all these things, after you cut out the instant gratification, and add what is called delayed gratification, where these tasks that are meditating, journaling, doing things that are boring, you're going to be able to tolerate boring things a lot easier. And you'll actually learn to enjoy them. For me, I could never enjoy reading a book before, but now I've actually read a few books already, and I've enjoyed it. Like, I enjoy reading the book because my baseline isn't so fucked anymore. You know people who talk about how they wish they could feel like a kid again? Well, honestly, when you cut out this shit, you do feel like a kid again. It's not like because right now your brain is just so used to just craving these rewards. Rewards, right? Just craving this instant gratification that you don't need. When you cut this out, you don't feel like you need to actually scroll anymore. For me, I actually haven't felt like I needed to scroll in a long time. So, my point is, over time, you're going to stop craving these distractions, and you're going to be able to sit down and do a task without just thinking, oh, I can't wait for my next distraction to come up. You're going to sit down, and you're going to maybe even enjoy that task. For me, it sounds crazy, but even when I'm studying, sure, I don't want to actually go ahead and study, but then when I get in the flow state of it, it's almost like I'm enjoying it a bit. So, I want this for you as well. I hope you got value out of this video. And anyways, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you like this content and you want to actually rewire your brain as I did myself. So, thank you for watching, bro. Hopefully you had a good takeaway here.